Okay, everybody, now we're going to look at second mortgages and home equity and qualifying ratios and lines of credit. I know sometimes if people get into a financial situation, they will take out a second mortgage on their loan, or maybe they're trying on their home, or maybe they're trying to start a business or something. And so this is how you understand what you might qualify for, because you can't just go reborrow the whole amount of your home, obviously, because the home is the collateral and the bank is not going to loan you more money than the home is worth in case you don't pay it back and they end up repossessing your home. We all know that that's how loans work. So it says a homeowner's property is appraised at $220,000. The lender allows borrowing up to 80% of the appraised value, and the balance on the first mortgage is $95,000. So what we need to calculate is the potential credit that this person could get if they needed a second mortgage, okay? Well, the property is appraised at this, $220,000. And the most that this lender will allow you to borrow is 80% of the value. So we're going to multiply the 220,000 times 0.80 and see that the most loan you can have out on this property with this lender is 176,000. But you still owe 95 on your first mortgage. So that part has got to be subtracted out, if that makes sense. If the total they will loan you is 176,000 and you already owe them 95, then the amount that you could get in a second mortgage is $81,000. Okay? That's how they factor that. That's how they figure it. Now, this next question is more just a discussion. It says, explain two differences between a home equity loan and a home equity line of credit. Okay, a home equity loan is this that we figured. They will loan you money, give you a lump sum. They probably wouldn't give you the whole $81,000 to be honest, but they will just give you the money. It has a fixed interest rate and a fixed repayment schedule, just like a mortgage payment. They're predictable monthly payments. It's good for really one-time expenses. If you are trying to start a business, or if you have something happen where you need an influx of cash. A home equity line of credit is a little bit more like a credit card. It kind of works like a credit card. Your home is collateral. There's a variable interest rate, and it's the thing where you can borrow and repay and borrow again, like it's held open for you all the time. And that is best if you have ongoing or unpredictable expenses, and you can learn more about that in your module. Okay, let's look at number 3, housing expense ratio. We say a borrower earns $5,000 in gross monthly income. Let's write that here since we've had to change pages. $5,000 in income. Monthly housing costs are $1,250. Calculate the housing expense ratio, okay? So we learn more about that in our module about housing. An acceptable housing ratio for a loan is 28%. They will rarely loan you money for a home if it's going to be more than 28%, if the payment is going to be more than 28% of your monthly income. So the way that you factor that ratio is very simple. You just take your monthly housing cost, which is $1,250, and you divide it by your monthly gross income. So we have $1,250 divided by 5,000, and we get 0.25, which is 25%. So they're still okay. They're getting close, but they meet the normally accepted guideline. Now, your total obligation ratio that's acceptable, our module shows is 36 to 43%. So now we're talking about the same borrower from question 3, and they have other monthly financial obligations that are $1,100. So they had $1,250 in housing, and we're just going to add this $1,100 in other obligations because we're trying to find their obligations ratio this time. So their total monthly financial obligations are $2,350. And we're just going to do the same thing we did in the other problem to find their obligations ratio. We're going to divide their total monthly obligations by the $5,000 that is their total monthly gross income. And we see, though, that they have a problem here because here they have a 47% ratio, which goes above the typical lending guidelines. So they may find they have a problem getting a loan that would have the $1,250 mortgage payment unless they can eliminate some of these other financial obligations a month or find a way to get a raise. And wouldn't we all love to do that? Okay, guys, that's all we have on second mortgages. Just reach out if you have any questions.